So let me tell you my experience or my feelings of what beauty is all about. Beauty is fascinating. There are so many descriptions of beauty. I think the one that is the prettiest description that I've heard is the one that says that it is that quality which evokes in the perceiver a high degree of attraction. So what does that mean? It means that beauty is how we perceive it, and to everyone it's something different. The thing that's fascinating about it is the fact that everybody seems to have the same subjective idea of what beauty is all about. It's when we look at it objectively that it becomes more difficult.
Regardless of nationality, age, or cultural background, regardless of time, past or present, most people in the world share the same sense of beauty, whether in architecture, sculpture, drawing, or the human body. The concept of facial attractiveness or beauty could be associated with three complementary features: proportions, harmony, and clarity, or better said, youthfulness. To these three features of beauty already proclaimed by St. Thomas from Aquinas, the angelic doctor, can be added a fourth one: symmetry. Nevertheless, we always talk about symmetry to be an absolute value, but it is not an absolute value. Let's come back to each of these three main features.
One of the most interesting things I found about beauty is in the research that I did through all the articles that were written on beauty was the idea of proportion and harmony. The question was, what was the ideal proportion? And one of the interesting things that has been shown with proportion is that there seems to be an ideal proportion to the facial features. And this ideal, I believe, and a lot of other physicians and the old Renaissance artists believed, was the ratio of phi.
The best-known study of human proportions was carried out by the classical Greek philosopher Plato, who came up with the concept of golden ratio or divine proportion. It is still considered as a beauty standard and can be summarized as follows. The common characteristic of a beautiful face is its respect for the mathematical ratio of phi, which is 1 to 1.618. In a healthy adult, the medial canthus remains constant, whatever his or her age. Taking into consideration the internal canthus distance and considering it as the reference length unit called A, we can define aesthetic goals by applying the phi ratio to A. Using a phi caliper, you can check on a face as follows. If the intercanthal distance is A, then the eyebrow width should be A multiplied by 1.618. The forefront height should also be 1.618A. If the upper lip height is B, then the lower lip height should be 1.618B. If the width of the face from cheek to cheek is 10 inches, 25 centimeters, then the length of the face from the top of the head to the bottom of the chin should be 16.18 inches, 41 centimeters. The second main feature is harmony. Harmony essentially refers to what is called eumorphy, which is to say the alternative rhythm and regularity of the facial contours and volumes. Facial contours and volumes should not be a succession of bumps and depressions, but a smooth wave made of concave and convex curves. The ideal face contour and volume profile can be assimilated to the ogee curve, a notion regularly used in architecture. An ogee curved face is perceived as a major element of beauty and universally generates a high level of positive emotion. Apart from proportions and harmony, the unifying theme in all the images of beauty is youthfulness. Its association with energy, fertility, sexuality, economic power, and status makes it even more desirable by both women and men worldwide. Youthfulness can be associated with the prominence of some specific elements, for example, the slight prominence of the upper lip compared with the lower lip, with the right positioning of the molar bone prominence apex, and the exact shape of facial volumes defining the triangle of youth. And with the quality of the skin, its smoothness, radiance, tone, and elasticity. To preserve the notion of natural beauty while conducting rejuvenation treatment, it's important to remind patients of some principles. The objective of a treatment is not to fill in wrinkles, but to maximize the patient's natural beauty potential. The more natural the result, the more positive the comments. Each treatment, even if dedicated to a very precise site, should be integrated in a global rejuvenation approach. Many techniques can be used to bring back the natural beauty in a face, and injectable resorbable fillers certainly constitute the best combination of efficiency and flexibility. We just need to remember while conducting a global aesthetic treatment with fillers that
It's not just a question of rejuvenation, it's a question of beauty maximization.